Imagine that it is late in the evening and you are scrolling through social media after a normal working day, not searching for anything in particular, but simply letting your mind slow down as you move through a familiar stream of information and entertainment. At first, nothing seems unusual. You see short clips, headlines, memes, and updates from people you know. Then suddenly, a video appears that feels different from everything else on your screen. Within seconds, you notice that it is being shared everywhere. Friends repost it with concerned messages. Comment sections fill with speculation. Some viewers express fear, others confusion, and a few claim to have already contacted relatives living near the coast. The footage shows a massive tsunami wave approaching a densely populated city. The camera angle looks like it was captured from a helicopter, revealing entire streets gradually disappearing beneath dark, fast-moving water. Cars are pushed aside, street lights flicker, and distant sirens echo through the background as crowds attempt to escape rising flood levels. At first glance, nothing about the video feels artificial. The lighting reflects the muted tones of an approaching storm, while the movement of the water appears physically consistent with real disaster footage seen in documentaries or breaking news broadcasts. Even the chaotic reactions of people in the scene seem believable, reinforcing the impression that this is an authentic emergency unfolding somewhere in the world. Because the video is also being shared by people you trust, it quickly gains credibility through social validation. You might feel a subtle sense of urgency, wondering where this is happening and how severe the situation might become. Now imagine that millions of people around the world are watching the same footage at that exact moment. Within hours, emotional reactions spread faster than verified information, shaping conversations long before official clarification arrives. Later that night, however, reliable sources confirm that the tsunami never happened. The entire sequence was generated using advanced artificial intelligence systems capable of simulating environmental physics, urban landscapes, and human crowd behavior with remarkable realism. The panic was synthetic, the destruction was fictional, yet the emotional response was completely real. This kind of scenario is no longer purely speculative. Rapid advances in generative AI have made it technically feasible to create highly convincing disaster simulations with relatively accessible tools, lowering the barrier for both creative storytelling and large-scale misinformation. For decades, digital technology has allowed creators to edit visual material. Color correction, special effects, and post-production tools gradually changed how reality was presented on screens. What is fundamentally different today is that artificial intelligence can generate entire events without relying on original footage or physical recording processes. Instead of modifying reality, modern generative systems can construct believable experiences from vast datasets containing patterns of light, movement, sound, and human expression. This transition marks a shift from editing reality to synthesizing it. The concept, often described as synthetic reality, refers to a media environment in which artificially generated voices, faces, and environments can appear authentic enough to influence human perception and behavior. This transformation is not limited to viral internet content. Companies are already experimenting with AI-generated customer representatives who can communicate fluently in multiple languages. Virtual influencers collaborate with global brands, attracting millions of followers despite having no physical existence. Automated news summaries are delivered by digital presenters capable of maintaining consistent tone and visual clarity. These developments suggest that realism itself is becoming programmable. The ability to construct convincing experiences may soon be as strategically important as the ability to distribute them. At this point, consider a brief mental exercise that illustrates how easily perception can be shaped by context. Imagine that two short video clips appear on your screen right now, both presented with professional production quality and realistic emotional tone. In the first clip, a financial analyst explains why global markets are likely to decline due to a combination of geopolitical instability and technological disruption. In the second clip, an unknown individual shares a personal story about losing their job during an economic downturn, speaking in a quiet but convincing voice. Both clips seem plausible. Both narratives align with current global uncertainty. One of them is real. The other is entirely generated by artificial intelligence. How would you decide which one to trust? Most people would rely on narrative plausibility and emotional coherence rather than technical verification. Human perception evolved to interpret social cues and survival signals in physical environments. It was never designed to distinguish between genuine experiences and algorithmically simulated realism. As synthetic media grows more sophisticated, perception itself may become a critical strategic asset across political, economic, and cultural domains. In electoral contexts, fabricated crisis footage released at a decisive moment could influence voter sentiment before verification mechanisms have time to respond effectively. Financial markets may also become vulnerable to synthetic signals if automated trading systems interpret artificially generated announcements as authentic data inputs. Even short-lived confusion can produce measurable consequences, such as sudden price volatility or shifts in investor confidence. Organizations are beginning to explore AI-generated spokespersons who can deliver consistent messaging across time zones and linguistic barriers. From an operational perspective, this can increase efficiency and reduce communication errors. From a societal perspective, it introduces new questions about transparency, accountability, and informed consent. In such an environment, shaping perception may become as powerful as shaping reality itself. If you find topics like synthetic media, future technology, and the psychology of digital reality interesting, this channel explores these transformations in depth. New videos focus on how innovation quietly reshapes society, perception, and everyday life. You can subscribe now and continue this exploration with future episodes on Julian's View. Living in an information ecosystem where synthetic media is common may gradually alter how individuals process digital experiences. Instead of accepting visual evidence as automatically reliable, viewers may begin to apply an ongoing mental filter that evaluates both meaning and authenticity. This heightened awareness can strengthen critical thinking skills, encouraging people to verify sources and question emotional manipulation. However, it may also contribute to information fatigue, particularly in fast-moving news cycles where uncertainty and urgency coexist. Over time, societies are likely to develop new cultural norms and verification habits, similar to how earlier generations adapted to the rise of photography, broadcast journalism, and online communication platforms. Despite legitimate concerns about misinformation and manipulation, synthetic reality also offers substantial opportunities for innovation. Educational institutions can use immersive simulations to make abstract scientific or historical concepts more tangible, enhancing engagement and comprehension. Medical training programs can replicate rare emergency scenarios, allowing professionals to practice decision-making under realistic conditions without real-world consequences. Creative industries are already experimenting with generative tools that allow small production teams to develop visually complex narratives without traditional budget constraints. These applications illustrate that synthetic media can function as a catalyst for creativity and productivity, rather than solely as a disruptive force. As AI-generated personalities become more visible in public communication, expectations around identity and authenticity may gradually evolve. Virtual influencers can maintain consistent tone, appearance, and messaging, creating a sense of reliability that appeals to brands and audiences alike. However, this consistency contrasts with the variability of human interaction, where emotional nuance and unpredictability often contribute to meaningful connection. In response, audiences may begin to value authentic human presence more consciously, distinguishing between polished synthetic performance and genuine personal expression. Historically, audio and video recordings have been treated as relatively strong forms of evidence in journalism and public discourse. In a synthetic media environment, verification processes will need to evolve to maintain trust. Technological solutions such as digital watermarking, blockchain-based authentication, and AI-assisted forensic analysis are already being explored. Equally important will be public understanding of how media is produced and distributed. Trust may increasingly depend on transparency and verification systems rather than visual realism alone. For most individuals, the transition towards synthetic reality will not feel like a sudden technological revolution. Instead, it will emerge as a gradual adjustment in everyday habits of communication, information consumption, and decision-making. Digital platforms already mediate social interaction, professional collaboration, and entertainment experiences. As synthetic content becomes more integrated into these environments, people will likely develop intuitive strategies for balancing convenience with caution. Ultimately, the emergence of synthetic reality represents an evolution in how information is created, interpreted, and trusted. Physical events will continue to shape societies in fundamental ways, but digital representations of those events will become more flexible and strategically significant. Rather than framing this transformation as purely dystopian or purely optimistic, it may be more accurate to view it as a period of adaptation. Understanding how perception can be influenced in an age of programmable realism may become one of the defining competencies of modern life. We are entering a time where reality can be simulated, edited, and even entirely created. This does not mean truth disappears, but it does mean that understanding truth will require new awareness. In a world of programmable realism, perception becomes a skill. The future is not just about what happens, it is about what we believe is happening. If you want to explore how technology is reshaping our understanding of reality, subscribe to Julian's View. Julian.